Here's the mistake, and it's almost certainly the one you made. You opened a chat box, typed something like, "Help me with my work," and waited to feel impressed. And when it didn't work, you assumed you'd picked the wrong tool. So you went looking for a better one. That search has no end, because every answer you find is just another name to install. The tool was never your problem. A blank box with no constraints is a terrible place to start, because it asks you to be an expert in the thing you came to learn. What nobody hands you is an order. There's a sequence to these decisions. It's the same sequence for everybody, and once you can see it, you stop asking which tool and start asking which rung. One boundary before the board fills up. Nothing here recommends a tool or a subscription. It's a way of deciding, and it survives the tools changing underneath it. The blank box is hard for a reason, and the reason is the whole video. To use it well, you have to already know three things: what a good answer looks like, how wrong this thing tends to be, and which parts of your job you'd actually hand over. Those are the three things a beginner doesn't have. That's the definition of a beginner. So the standard advice, pick a tool, open it, start prompting, puts the exam before the lesson. And the overwhelm you've been feeling isn't a character flaw or a pace problem. It's the correct response to being handed an instrument with no scale on it. A dial with no markings tells you nothing, however long you stare at it. That's a blank box until you supply the scale. So the fix isn't a smaller tool or a gentler introduction. It's answering those three questions in order, on purpose, before you hand anything over. And that order has three rungs. Three rungs: verify, delegate, automate. They describe how much of the work you're still doing, and they only go in that direction. On rung 1, verify, the machine produces, and you check all of it. Every line, every time. You're not saving effort yet. You're buying information about how this thing fails. On rung 2, delegate, the machine produces, and you check some of it. You've stopped reading every line, because by now you know what its mistakes look like and where they cluster. On rung 3, automate, it runs without you in the room. You're not checking. Something else is checking, and it can stop the work. One rule governs all three, and it's the only sentence in this video worth writing down. Never hand over a task you can't check the output of. It doesn't say, never hand over a task the machine might get wrong. It says, never hand over a task where you wouldn't notice. Those are different questions, and the left one decides your rung. Work that fails loudly is safe to delegate long before work that fails quietly, even when the loud one gets things wrong more often. Take 2. Code that doesn't compile is wrong in a way that announces itself. You find out in seconds, at no cost, without knowing anything. A summary that quietly drops the one clause that changed the meaning looks exactly like a good summary. The first is the safer thing to hand over, even if it's wrong half the time, because the failure can't travel. The second is the dangerous one, even if it's only wrong once in 50, because when it's wrong, you forward it to somebody. So the question about any task isn't how often this thing gets it wrong. It's what happens next, whether a wrong answer stops or keeps going. Rung 1 has no entry test. Anybody can start here on anything, today, with whatever tools already open. That's why every beginner gets told to start with a chat box, and the advice isn't wrong. It's just missing its purpose. The purpose of Rung 1 isn't output. It's building the failure map. You're running tasks you already know the answer to, so you can watch where it goes wrong while the stakes are 0. So pick work you've done before. Not the thing you're stuck on, the thing you're bored of. You need a known right answer to compare against. And boring recurring work is where you've got one. And write the failures down. Not a feeling, a list. It invents a source. It agrees with whatever you said last. It's confident about a limit that doesn't exist. Those three are worth separating because they cost different things. An invented source you can catch by looking. Agreement you didn't earn is harder. The answer changed to match you, and nothing on screen says so. That list is the asset. It's what you didn't have when you opened the blank box. And you can't get it from a video, including this one. Yours will be specific to your own work. How long you stay here isn't a number of weeks. You leave rung 1 when you can predict the mistake before you read the output. Our own failure list for drafting was calibrated against 5 finished scripts before it was trusted to run by itself. For a broader task, that moment never quite arrives, and that's a real answer too. Rung 2 is where the time saving actually starts, and it's the rung people skip to on day 1. It has an entry test, and the test isn't, "Am I confident now?" The test is this: is there a check on this work that's independent of the thing doing the work? If the only way to know the output's good is to ask the machine that produced it, you're not on rung 2. You're guessing with extra steps. Independent is a low bar, and it isn't a technical bar. A spell check is independent. A test that runs the code is independent. The original invoice sitting on your desk is independent. Asking, "Are you sure?" is not. The check also has to be quicker than the task. And this is the part people miss. If verifying takes as long as writing it did, you haven't delegated anything. You've added a step and moved the work around. So before you delegate anything, price the check. If checking takes longer than doing, stay on rung 1 for that task and pick a different one to move up. Rungs are per task, not per person. Do it with actual minutes, once, on paper. A task that takes you 25 minutes and whose output you can check in 4 is a rung 2 task, and you should move it up today. The same 25-minute task, where confirming the answer means redoing the reasoning and costs you 30, isn't. And no amount of skill with the tool changes that arithmetic. Notice what decided it. Not the difficulty of the work, not how good the machine is, not how confident you feel. The ratio between doing and checking, which is a fact about the task, and it sits there whether you measure it or not. That's the piece a tool list can't give you, because it isn't a property of the tool. You'll sit on all 3 rungs at once, with different work on each, permanently. 3 real tasks run through the test, so the rule stops being an idea. They're all from the workflow that produces this channel, so the numbers are ours. Task 1, drafting a script. Can it be checked independently? Partly. There's a written standard and a checker that reads every draft against it. Is the check quicker than the job? For the mechanical half, yes. So the checker catches the countable failures, length, banned phrasings, a missing beat, a claim with no source attached. It runs in about a second, and it has never once judged whether the argument is any good, which is why this one stays on rung 1. The checkable part gets checked by a machine, and a person still reads the whole thing, because the part that actually matters, is this worth someone's time, has no independent test. Task 2, confirming a video actually went live and is still set the way we left it. Independent check? Yes. The platform itself will answer, and its answer doesn't come from the thing that did the publishing. That distinction is the whole reason it can be automated. Our own stored note saying a video's private isn't evidence. The platform saying so is. One's a memory, the other's a measurement, and it earns its place. On the 6th of August, it read 4 items as waiting on a decision and found 3 of the 4 had already been handled. A person reading our own notes would have chased 3 things that didn't need chasing. Task 3, choosing what to make. Independent check? There isn't one. The only test is whether people watch it, and that arrives weeks after the decision. You can't run it beforehand, so it never leaves rung 1, and that isn't a failure of nerve. A task whose check arrives after the cost is spent can't be delegated safely, no matter how good the machine gets. The rule is about the check, not the capability. Rung 3 is the one everybody wants, and the one with the longest entry test. Running without you doesn't mean nobody's watching. It means the watching is automatic too. 3 conditions, and all 3 have to hold. The check runs every time, not when someone remembers. When it fails, it stops the work rather than continuing past it. And it tells a person, somewhere they'll actually look. Fails closed is the one to be careful with. A check that errors out and lets the work continue is more dangerous than no check at all, because now there's a green light attached to nothing. Our own pipeline runs 16 of these, separate checking programs standing between one step and the next, on scripts, audio, video, captions, and publish state. And the third condition quietly decides whether the other 2 matter at all. A check that writes its complaint to a log nobody opens hasn't told anybody anything, which is the honest cost of rung 3, and it's worth saying plainly. Automating a task means you now own 2 things, the task and the machinery that watches it. The second one needs looking after even in the weeks the first one's quiet, which is why rung 3 is worth resisting for anything you only do occasionally. Machinery that runs monthly still has to be right every month, and you'll have forgotten how it works by the time it's wrong. 2 ways this ladder has failed in our own use, both recent, and both worth more than the advice above. The first, we've got a checker that decides whether a finished video is visually dense enough. It exists to catch a video that's mostly empty screen. A video went through it, passed, and was rejected by a person for being illegible. 4 different scenes drawn on top of each other, 2 sentences in the same pixels. Rerun against that same file while writing this, the checker passes it again, with the measurement sitting well clear of its threshold. 0.0635 against a floor of 0.038. And here's the part that should worry you more than the miss itself. Overlapping content puts more ink on the screen, not less. So the defect moves the measurement in the direction the checker rewards. It didn't fail to notice. It was pointed the wrong way, and the worse the video got, the better it scored. The second, a credential our automation depends on stopped working one morning. It was fine at 3 minutes past 6, dead by 20 to 12, and 3 separate automated runs in between reported everything healthy. Nothing had noticed because nothing checked that credential unless it already needed it, and nothing needed it for 5.5 hours. The first thing that would have caught it was the job that depended on it, which is to say, the victim. Both failures are the same shape, and it isn't carelessness. A check is a claim about the world, made at the moment somebody wrote it. The world keeps moving and the check doesn't. Notice that in both cases nothing broke. The checker still ran. The credential still looked valid. What expired was the reason each one was trusted, and neither could report that about itself. So the rule needs its second half, and it's the half that almost always gets left out. Never hand over a task you can't check, and go back and confirm the check still measures the thing you meant. On a schedule, in writing, whether or not anything looks wrong. Short version, Rung 1, verify. No entry test, start today, and the output isn't the point. The failure map is. Use work you already know the answer to. Rung 2, delegate. Entry test, a check that doesn't come from the same place as the work, and that's quicker than doing the job yourself. Price the check before you move. Rung 3, automate. Entry test, the check runs every time, it stops the work when it fails, and it tells a person somewhere they actually look. And rungs are per task, not per person. You'll hold work on all 3 at once, and the same job can move back down when the check stops being good enough. Moving back down is the maneuver nobody teaches, and it's the one that keeps this honest. It isn't a setback, it's what the ladder is for. So stop asking which tool. Take one task you're bored of, put it on Rung 1 this week, and write down how it fails. That list is the thing everything else gets built on, and no tool ships with it. The next thing worth building is your own version of the failure map for one task. Not a template you downloaded. The failures you actually saw, in your own words. Until then, stay in the loop.